On this Instagram Live, I'm going to be interviewing an amazing client of mine. She's a private client, she's in the headquarters, she's coming to Freedom Queen Live, and I want to interview her and talk about some of the ways that she's changed over the last, really the way that I've seen her grow in the last, I would say, 6 months. She's also coming to Freedom Queen Live, and so we want to talk about that as well. And so just stick around because you're going to be inspired, or if you're watching the replay, enjoy. So let me bring up the amazing Irene. Okay, she's on here. So before I bring up Irene, I want to tell you about this extraordinary woman. So when I first met Irene, I don't remember the exact timeline, but I remember seeing her and knowing that this woman was going to do something really big. Have you ever met certain people, certain clients in the online space, and you go, I just know if you and I were closer together, you would, like, I could help you and serve you in a way and support you in a way where your entire business blows up, but also your whole community and everything about you. And so I'll never forget, I think Irene did one of our certification programs, and then I don't think joined anything after that, and then came back in to a few other programs, Wealth Embodied, and then joined the headquarters. And I'll never forget one of the programs with Irene. Irene was on a call and said, I'm going to have a $30,000 month. Have you ever sat there and declared something in front of your mentor? Have you ever sat and said, I'm going to do this thing. This is what I'm going to do. So she declared $30,000 month. And then like a month later, she has a $30,000 month in all of the different businesses that she has combined together. And that was such a huge moment for her. I've watched her, and I'm going to bring her up in a second. I've watched her over the last 6 months really, truly. Oh, I see so many people coming on. If you know Irene, put an emoji in the chat box. I've watched her truly transform into building something that most people will never build, which is a real movement and community. And so, you know what? Let me bring her up because I want to have her introduce herself, and then I'm going to talk about like this actual movement and community that she's built. So Irene, come. Get on down.
Hi, Bridget.
Hi. I love how we're both in white.
Um, what an intro. What an intro. Hi, you guys. Hi, Priscilla. I see Emily's here too. Thank you for having me, Bridget.
Can you introduce yourself to my audience? I know most people probably know who you are, but can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So I'm Irene. I worked with Bridget for one-on-one for since March, I believe now. Yeah. And I'm a business and embodiment coach. But what I really focus on is self-expression and being not just any self-expression, but your bold self-expression.
Yeah.
Being raw on the internet and being able to be taken seriously in whatever expression is yours.
Yeah. Well, like the thing that I've seen you do, really I've seen it come into fruition, and I would say in the last 3 months, is you are, when I look at you, an industry leader in the online space. A lot of people look to you, and like Priscilla's here, Emily's here, a bunch of people on this live know you. And that's really what I've seen you do in the last 3 months, but the last 6 months, is you build something that most people will never build. Like I see you on your IG stories when you're talking about an offer, people move. I know you promoted Freedom Queen Live, and strangers reached out to you, and we were talking about that in our Telegram. I'm like, that's not normal. What you built is like this collective community all around the things that you do, and most people don't have something like that, and that's why you always stood out to me.
And that's one of the first things that you said to me. And it's like one of those things where I know what I'm doing. It's just so normal to me where I don't realize, oh, yeah, that's different. Even until today, when you said about the strangers messaging me, like it was the first time we talked, and we're talking about meeting in person.
It's not, yeah. And you told me, you were like, oh yeah, complete strangers reached out to me about Freedom Queen Live. I was like, what? I've never heard of that before. And you're like, it's so normal. And so I want you to share with my audience what has been the biggest shift from you going from like having a coaching business to having a movement and a community?
The biggest shift, gosh, I have to say, really leaning, as basic as it sounds, but leaning into my me, leaning into like exactly what's me with blinders on more than ever. And it's like the moment that I really started blowing out my wild, my my sauce, like what's me, and really not even not caring what anybody else is doing, not knowing. Like I don't know what so and so is doing to even know if we're doing the same thing. And I would have to say that because the more edge that I share of me, the more real I am, the more me, my clients side message me, oh, I needed that today. Just the other day, somebody on this chat, two people in the chat, I posted something that I felt edgy and I was very vulnerable in the caption. I was like, you know what? I almost didn't post this. Da-da-da-da-da. And people working with me one-on-one messaged me privately, you know what? I was feeling this too about this. And it's just like going back and forth. I said that the more I share me, the more people receive me.
Yeah. You can tell that you are like the core nucleus, or you're like the central person that people go to, obviously inside of your movement. But again, most people kind of operate as the leader of a coaching business. They sell some coaching one off. It's very evident to me that what you're building has this really strong foundation. It's like, and you're going to see this over the rest of 2024, and you're going to see it going into 2025 because you're building with very strong $1 million movement messaging. So meaning like it's your messaging is vastly different than majority of people's messaging in the online space. It's backed by your story, so there's no wobbliness. It's 100% authenticity. Like when you see your copy, your content, you're like, it's Irene. And
Yeah.
then when you sell, you're selling offers that are so aligned with who you are and what your zone of genius is. People buy them right away. And then you have
Yeah.
amazing people like Emily and Priscilla in the chat saying these incredible things
Yeah.
about you.
I love that. Hi, you guys. Thank you for that. With Irene for life. How special. How special. And Bridget, there was something else that happened to where, so one of my last programs around the time frame that you're saying that you saw the shift, it was one of my last programs of the next level money moves. And it was like, I would get off the call and I remember thinking, this felt so easy. Something's not right. Something's not right. Like this was too easy. It was not good enough. It was too easy. And then on my end, I just like talked, no notes. We were like laughing and getting shit done, getting things done while still having fun. And I
Yeah.
remember getting off thinking like, wow, was that even good? I think I even came into you about it. And next thing I know, the girls are popping off, celebrating, loving it, and having transformations and sharing this. And that's when it dawned on me like, it's just so second nature to me what I'm doing. And that I've attracted women that are in such alignment that it feels fun, it feels easy, and so simple.
Yeah. Can you talk about that? Because what has shifted in you? I want to identify this for people watching because I think it's so incredible to see and identify what has been one thing. Obviously, there's many things, but what has been one thing that shifted you from where you were before in your coaching business to where you are now, where now you can get on a live or you can go on your IG stories or you can go to a group call and people's minds are blown or they'll buy from you. Like you'll just drop an offer and then you'll message me and be like, oh, somebody bought the offer. Like pretty much right away. And again, these things aren't normal, but what was one thing that shifted that made that happen?
I gotta say the conviction in my expression, the conviction in I am who I am, the way that I talk, the way that and you were such a big part of this with me because I feel like I see how different I am on the internet and we're all different, but I was making a bit of me wrong still. Like I just gotta say the way it's coming out, like the shit fuck ass part, the way that I talk, the way that not making that specific thing. I know you gotta remember this, not
Yeah.
making that part wrong. It's how I talk, it's how I am,
Yeah.
and really just letting it be okay. It sounds so tiny to the people watching, but that's what it was because my girls understood. My
Mhm.
girls understood that what I do every day. Oh, here it is. Here it is. What I do every day in my life, when I wake up, I dance, I move my body. It's a love language to me. And if I want to share that online, I'm going to, and not looking at it like, oh, well, what is that for? What's the dancing for? It's for my life. It's like I do it. And if you enjoy my energy, you want to see how I'm so like the way I am online, this is what I do.
Yeah.
and owning that, letting it and not making it wrong.
And that's a big piece of your movement, which is owning your creative expression, embodying the way you want to be, and then using that to grow your own business and using that inside of your content. I know you talk so much about being embodied in your content.
Yeah.
Why do you see this for clients or people in the online space? They don't allow their truest self-expression to come out.
They're still worried about what other people are thinking. But I think it's even deeper than that. They haven't fully owned it. Because it's like when you're afraid of judgment, I feel like my thoughts are, it's not really judgment that you're afraid of, yes, but the underlying thing there is you're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
You're afraid of somebody seeing this and being like, and that isn't necessarily judgment. It's the rejection that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
And while like I know some things I do are weird or out there, I know, but I love her. When I look at my content and that weird thing, I look at her like, oh my God, it took so much work for her to get there, to own that part of her. And like, I look at, some like other things that I've done to where if I'm not worried about like what family's thinking or what so-and-so's thinking, why am I going to be concerned about what a stranger on the internet is thinking or somebody that might want to work with me? Then maybe, I started creating content for people that are paying me, not people that aren't paying me.
One of the things that you did with content, I'll never forget this, is we were talking in Telegram and you're like, I have this idea for this program, which has been a very successful program. I have an idea for this program. This is what I'm going to do. And you're like, okay, here's the vision. I'm like, oh my, I'm mind blown per usual. And you're like, okay, I'm going to drive out into the middle of the desert right now. Like within it felt like an hour from my experience, Irene. Within an hour, you had done like a brand shoot. And then I was like, you should do videos out there. You're back out there doing videos. That again.
Off-roading.
Yeah, off-roading in your car. Like these things are not normal. Can you talk to me about that creative process and like why are you like that? What is it about you that makes you do things like that?
It's like, there is a deep rooted why. To say it really briefly, like there was such a time period where it wasn't fun in life, where I had the depressed story. I have that part of my story, and once I came back to my heart, I refused to not live life to its fullest.
Yeah.
Like I live by YOLO mentality because I know what not wanting to live feels like, and I literally feel like I wasted about 7 years of life, like being in that. And now I'm like, heck no, like something. And I think this, you go die tomorrow. And what are you going to be, thank God I can see. Thank God I have my feet work to go do all these things. I'm so blessed. So when something like that happens, and it's that combined with a bit of figure it out mentality, and I've been on my own for a very long time. I think I just figured out I wanted a photo shoot. I couldn't get a hold. Part of that story was I couldn't get a hold of a photographer. I couldn't this. Like there were so many no's in the way, and I'm like, but I want these pictures. All right, let me figure it out. I looked up poses while I was in line at the place buying the chair. And when I decided I wanted that, I sat there. I was right here on my couch, and I was like, my brain just works that way. And I'm like, how can I get this done?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to look up where the dry lake bed is. So I was looking it up, got lost. I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I have a couple of hours. What else am I going to do right now? Create content? Cool, but I can go do this too.
Yeah. And there's always going to be those roadblocks. And I really that's what filters people out from becoming the 1%. That's why it's a 99%. Most people, I've had people say to me, like, I can't get a hold of my photographer. It's like, really? That's your problem? There's 500 million photographers and you have a phone right here.
Yeah.
And that filters people out. And then I've just seen you do a lot of things like that where you've experienced. I remember, I don't know if you shared the whole story with your audience, that you going to New York trip. That could have been canceled. And I think most people would have canceled and not done that VIP weekend. But you did it anyways. And then I think that as a result of that created a big result in your business and in your life. And I think, again, most people would have said no to something like that. Or no, most people would have said, oh, they got lost. It's late, whatever, sun's going down, let me turn around. But you still went out and did that photo shoot.
Yeah, there's no it's like once you lean into your it's part of authenticity too. I could get emotional. Like once you know what it feels like, anything against that doesn't feel good. It like hurts. You know, it hurts my body to not do something that I really want to do. And there's also a bit of like, this is my livelihood. You know, this is my livelihood. Like I
Yeah.
don't have somebody else helping me with my bills. I don't have this, which is beautiful. If you do, you know, that's great. I don't. This is my livelihood. If I want to get to here quicker, faster, and enjoy the process, you get your ass out there and go take the pictures.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
one bit about
Oh,
the New York thing, Emily says it's evidence of the internal power. I work with Emily privately. Um, and the New York trip, really briefly, it was a really horrible breakup that I went through right before. And the trip ended up costing more money. Got to get a hotel room, got to all these things. And it was just, I sat back and I thought, and this is from you, Bridget, this is you. Literally, I thought, well, what would happen if I didn't go? What's it going to cost me if I don't do the thing?
oh, chills.
Yeah. And I just been like, no. And you know, I had the funds to do it, but if I didn't, I'm like, okay, well, where's your credit card? What can I do? Like, I just even that, like, there was no not going.
Yeah. And that's why you are where you are today, and you are going to continue to grow at record rates because you have the strong movement, but also you have this personality and this mindset and resiliency of you're just going to find the way, and the way will present itself, but that's not going to stop you, and it will stop most people, and that's why they don't get to where they want to go.
That's so powerful. Thank you for seeing me in that.
Well, something else I want to talk with you about is how you moved for Freedom Queen Live. When did you sign up for Freedom Queen Live? When did you buy your ticket? What like round were you?
It was it was in December. It was in December.
Okay.
And you were it was something you were celebrating me on, and I was on the plane, and I booked the ticket. I would say, you guys, I was flying back from Europe. I was flying back from Europe, and you had a Freedom Queen Live call, and you invited me on to celebrate me for something. And I was like, shoot, I'm gonna be in the plane. Like, there was no way. And I was like, there's no way Zoom works. I was flying over the ocean. And I was like, I'm just gonna try it. So I'm in there, and I did have an upgraded seat. So I was in first class too, like leaning back. I'm like, maybe it'll work. And it's loading. I'm sitting in my seat, leaning back, and then I just like sit up when it's like loading. And I saw your pop up. I'm like, no freaking way. No way. I'm somewhere over Europe right now. Is this gonna happen right now? So then it got on. I'm like, I'm in first class right now, flying over Europe. What is happening, God? And then I tried talking. I'm like, hi, you guys, I'm on the plane right now.
Yeah, we were like, we can hear you. Hundreds of us are on that call. I remember that.
And that was the call that I bought my ticket. Or decided. I think I decided there. Yeah, I've got the link.
You like literally so Freedom Queen, true embodiment in the sky, upgraded to first class. You're on a Zoom call. And you're
Talking.
talking, coming up, sharing your wins. And I think that was, we did like a year celebration call or something like that. And then I sold the tickets. But again, like that's where you are, why you are where you are today is because you do buckle out things like that. Buying a ticket to Freedom Queen Live very early on, that was almost a year out from it. And so I know you're bringing people to Freedom Queen Live. I think, who do you have coming to Freedom Queen Live already?
Well, I was just talking to Emily before our live. Emily's in Australia. We're
Danny just came on too.
Danny, hi Danny. I'm Priscilla. Priscilla's still here. She's coming. And then we have, Priscilla, Simone, Valerie, the brand witch is coming, as well as two other people that are new to your world. Oh, Cheyenne's coming as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're just creating this whole like part of the group that I'm coming. I want everybody to come knowing each other. So I've connected everybody. Oh, there's Priscilla. She says, I cannot wait for September. Shoshana got me even more hyped to meet you in person, to you, Bridget.
I'm so like, yeah, okay, keep going. Tell me about your group.
So, I want all the girls to know each other. Some of them do already, but we're having a networking call just where we get to know each other, because that way when we get there, we're not strangers. You just feel like that much safer. But also, I want to talk to them about how I've used Freedom Queen Live as an embodiment practice. And it's part of my everyday morning routine, my morning money routine, because it's like having the date to something where I can visually see, okay, I mean, and there's a strategy behind it too. I'm like, okay, if my goal is to be here X dollars, can I work backwards? Okay. And then that hype feeling too, like my brain in the morning goes to her. I have a date. I know what she's wearing. I want to
Yeah.
shop and work out, my body, all these things.
Yeah.
And it's easy to connect to that.
Okay, but I gotta share something with you right now. We are getting so close to Freedom Queen Live 2024, the conference happening September 26th in Tampa, Florida. I am so excited. Like, it is a 4-day event. We're going to have speakers, workshops, and I'm doing this event not because I want to have a room filled with every single person in Freedom Queen, but because I want to create an experience for you, an event horizon, a gateway where you leave never being the same, where you exit Freedom Queen Live going, okay, I know what to do. I know how to build a movement. I know how to build a community. I know how to create content to serve them. I know how to sell. And I know how to be the one that can build the movement over and over and over again. That's the number one thing I keep hearing from people that have already purchased their tickets from Freedom Queen Live is they're like, I'm excited about all of the content, but really what I'm excited for is to be someone and know that I can actually do this. I can build a multi-million-dollar company. I can create something extraordinary over and over and over again and actually do it. So I'm so pumped. This is going to change the game for Freedom Queen. It's going to change your life. It's going to create a ripple effect in the entire world. Make sure you click below to get your ticket for general admission, or if you want to be on a whole other vibe, join VIP, and I will see you at Freedom Queen Live 2024. It totally sets the tone for, by coming to the conference in September, you're going to show up as a bigger, bolder, more confident version of yourself now. And so it makes you look at your business, because I know many of you on this live want to walk this stage. You're like, okay, well, I have to show up for my business. I have to post more. I have to sell more, all because you dream of walking this stage one day. And that's what going to conferences has done for me. That's what getting the 2 Comma Club award at Russell Brunson's conference did for me. So can you talk about your mindset around getting the award at Freedom Queen Live?
Yeah, it's really driven me to go bigger. It's driven me to go bigger and being verbal about it and really moving like her. Like I know the first thing that comes to mind when I think of XYZ number that I'm going for, my mind goes to, okay, it's not just what is she doing, what is she not doing? Like what is she not doing? And instantly, I mean, if I ask anybody watching right now, what is your 30, 40, whatever your next $1,000 self is, what is she not doing? You'll know right away. And that's a bit about like, oh, let me clean that up.
Yeah.
My mind is there. And it's also in like staying in the energy. So something that I've done is create little embodiment practices throughout the day to remind me of her. It's like this association I have of every time I drive out of my gate in the morning, when the gate opens, I know you know the story, Bridget. When the gate opens, I just now associate it with Freedom Queen Live September. It reminds me, oh yeah, as I'm driving up to it, okay, let me review the last hour of my morning. Oh, little you're scroll doing something. And then I'm driving into Freedom Queen Live.
Yeah. It changes things. And I'm telling, like, I know you know this, but everybody watching this or watching the replay, coming to Freedom Queen Live is not just the conference itself, and that's going to blow your mind. Like, from all the speakers that we have, the workshops, everything you're going to learn, but it sets the tone. And inside of the Freedom Queen Live group, we're about to start an unrecognizable challenge. So by the time you get to Freedom Queen Live, it's like, I don't even recognize myself. You're coming there dressed up. You feel like you really, really went for it. I know that's something you and I were talking about, but something I always reflect on is you owe yourself to just really go for it. Like, I mean, all out 100% and just see what's possible, because most people aren't even operating at level, like, they're not even operating at like level 1%. When they could be doing 1,000%. And I don't mean, I think people use it as an excuse of like, oh, I don't want to burn out or I don't want to get exhausted. It's like, you're not even close. You're just being lazy. Like you're not even trying right now and you're using that as an excuse, but you're not even close to that level of execution and effort. And so inside of Freedom Queen, everyone that has their tickets, we're going to be doing an unrecognizable challenge, but then to also have Irene, your work and your embodiment work. And then are you going to do something at the actual event with all of your people you bring?
Yes. I'm planning it right now. We're going to have something when we get there to the embodiment stuff, like how to navigate and use that space, the time that we're there for your business, for you to evolve into your next level through embodiment, and then a closeout session altogether.
Cool. Okay. And so what I want to do then with everybody that's watching this live, if you know Irene or you want to know Irene, don't come buy a ticket from me. Don't go to my site and don't come buy a ticket from me. I want you to go to Irene's page, and what should they do? Just send you a message?
Yeah.
Or
Send me a message that you watched the live, and just you guys look in here. We have Priscilla in here showing up. Hashtag squad. Hashtag all black. Hashtag express AF. Like this is the vibe in my world. The vibe is squad vibes. Like I see you. I want to know you. I want to dance with you, and I want to serve you. I am just. That's the vibe. There's the evidence there for you.
Yeah.
Just come say hi. Let's chat and let's go together.
And I'm just imagining you with like all the people you brought there and like just walking in like you guys need like music. Like
I have a visual too.
Yeah. Like we're gonna have like a I don't want to say like kind of like a walkway area. I don't want to give it all away, but a walkway area that would be so incredible. I'm just imagining like crew, like we'll have videographers there, and obviously you can take videos too. But if you know Irene or you want to get to know Irene, like when you buy the ticket from me, you'll get the ticket and you'll get all of the magic that we're doing. But when you buy the ticket from Irene, you'll get Freedom Queen Live plus all of the extra bonuses that she's added on to her experience, which is there's just so much more. So if you're watching this live now or watching the replay, don't buy your Freedom Queen Live ticket from me. DM Irene Freedom Queen Live or DM her FQL because if I were you, I would take advantage of what Irene has to offer. And you also get a discount when you sign up through Irene.
So just to be clear before we go, it's the Freedom Queen Live and everything that comes with Bridget. And then with me, you're also going to get a networking crew before. So we'll have at least 2 calls, at least 2 before the event on Zoom. I want to see you in your big vision. I want you to tell us in front of the other girls, accountability, be seen. That's the vibe. So you'll get that, and then at the event we'll network there and have 2 things together.
I mean that'd be huge. The before, like, because when I go to conferences I go alone. Well, I go with Robbie, but Robbie and I like we can be pretty introverted, and so it takes a lot for us to go and meet people unless we know other couples that we've talked to in masterminds. This event will be very different because so many people know one another, and because you're curating an experience like this, people are going to get 100x out of the event. Why? Because when you come with Irene, when you show up in person, your energy is different when you know people.
Yeah.
You're a little bit more grounded. You're a little bit more confident. You feel like you have someone that has your back. If you feel nervous, awkward, or weird, it's like, oh, where's my crew? I can go talk to them. Versus like standing in the lobby. Like I've done at so many conferences, like, hi everybody, you know, especially my first one. Like I was so nervous at my first one to ever go, and like didn't feel qualified to be there, didn't have the money to be there, but just showing up anyways and being so, all of that, plus then having to meet brand new people. So when you come with Irene, you're going to be set up for a whole new level than most people will. So send Irene a message.
Yes, please do. Thank you, Bridget. This was so fun.
I'm so glad. This is like celebrating you is one of my favorite things to do. And I know that we do that a lot inside of Telegram because you constantly blow my mind. But like, I just
scream.
Yeah, we scream, we laugh, we cry. You and I feel like we're always talking on airplanes, like we're in our Telegram. And just to see all the work that you've done, but also, you know, we're going to get to Freedom Queen Live and after Freedom Queen Live and into 2025. And I know this, you're going to have a completely unrecognizable business by then.
My body is receiving that. I feel it. I know it too. I know it. She knows it too.
Emily says, not me looking at flights to America immediately. Yeah, the reason why I brought up Danny is because Danny's flying from Australia as well. And we have a bunch of people. Allison's flying from Australia. Sheena's flying from Australia. Danny's flying from a lot of people. So come.
Yes, come, Emily. Come, come, come.
Right. Okay, Irene, thank you for coming on. I love celebrating you and your work. And also, I'll see you at Freedom Queen
Okay.
Live.
Bye, Bridget. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.